Thank you for stepping into the Garden of Influence where healing and purpose meets. A podcast designed to empower women to cultivate deep healing and transform their lives from the inside out. Each episode will inspire you with powerful stories, practical wisdom, and soul nourishing insights to help you grow spiritually, heal emotionally, and live intentionally. This is a space for the woman who is ready to stop performing and start becoming, to embrace her truth, own her identity, and live from a place of alignment and authenticity. Whether you're on your way to work, it's Self Care Sunday, or you're out on a jog, let these words of love and wisdom plant seeds in your soul today. I'm your host, Ariel Gardino. Hello, everyone. Thank you for stepping into the Garden of Influence. I think you should stay a while. I think you're going to love it here. And if you're not new here, then hey, welcome back. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I'm so energized. I feel so good. I rested on Saturday and I went to a really great church service on Sunday. And I cooked some good food Sunday too. I cooked some fried chicken, some big macaroni, some yams, of course. I cooked it all, okay? I had a taste for that. But I hope everyone had a great weekend and your start of your week is going really well. Today is Tuesday, so we got a few more days of this week, but let's make it a great week, okay? Okay. I've been posting a lot of content lately on our socials, so if you don't follow us already, follow us on Instagram at Garden of Influence. And if you would like to follow my main page, my tag is at Ariel Gardino. I'm currently working on something so exciting for you guys. This is going to be the first event presented by the Garden of Influence, and I'm so excited. I think it's going to be such a beautiful event. So I want everyone to be following us on Instagram when this event will be announced. It should be announced in the beginning of August. That's when I'm aiming to finish all the back end stuff that I'm doing right now and getting our sponsors together. But it's going to be a beautiful event. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, today's episode is actually going to be a very heartfelt episode. So, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Anything that I share with you guys today, I just want to let you guys know that I am 100% healed from already. If I was not healed from the things that I'm going to share with you guys today, I would not be sharing. I would be probably somewhere dealing with my emotions myself. So I just wanted to let you guys know that because I will be sharing going deep into my childhood and some things that has happened to me so that you guys can have a better understanding of first who I am as a person. And it just also goes with my topic for today, and it just shares the depth about what I'm talking about. So the topic for this episode is going to be owning your story. And I'm not going to lie, if you have not took any notes from any other episodes, I think that you should either be taking mental notes with this episode for sure, or you should grab yourself a pen and a paper because this one, I promise you guys, is going to be really good and very deep, okay? So I'm going to read you guys the quote I found for this topic, and it says, "You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness." So I'm going to let that quote sit with you just for a second. And I actually want you to think about what owning your story means to you and just kind of sit with your emotions for a second and see what comes up first when you hear that sentence. What does that bring to you? This topic means so much to me because it's such a pivotal moment in your life once you start owning your story and you start basically becoming the author of your story and not letting your life circumstances be the author anymore. And you're taking your power back by writing your story again. And also, there's beauty in our stories, and there's strength and inspiration in our stories. And that is what has called me to share mine. This episode came about is because I was praying in my car one day on my way to work, and I was thinking about my next episode, what I wanted it to be. And God placed it on my heart and He said, "Own your story." And at first I was like, oh, I was like, okay, Lord. I was like, I can talk about that. It's something that I really only share with people that I feel really close to. I don't think really many people know about anything that deep about me, but I know that once I agreed to step into this platform, I told myself that I would be authentically myself and share these cuts and these wounds with others because I have healed mine and I want to help other people heal theirs. So I want to share these things. Although it may be uncomfortable for me because it's new, I know that there's somebody, and I pray that there's at least one person that I help, because that means that I at least did my job and what I want to do, even if it's just one person. So I'm gonna take y'all back. I'm not gonna get too much in detail because I went through some crazy things and I want to get into the meat of this topic basically. But I do want to give you guys a good enough outline so you guys can understand where I'm coming from and where this passion like comes from that's inside of me. So I'm going to take y'all back. So I know a lot of people either know me from living in Connecticut or you know me from living in California, San Diego. I was born in Connecticut. After I was born, my grandmother that lives in California, I went with her until the age of 3. And then at the age of 3, I came back to Connecticut. So, first, I want to say I've always been moving my whole life. And that is something that I actually realized this week. I've always been moving. I never stay in a place for too long. I'm always moving back and forth, back and forth. And this is just within my life throughout. I'm still pretty young, but I noticed that this is just how my life goes. So when I moved back to Connecticut at the age of 3, that's when the shift really happened. So my mom hired a man as my babysitter. And this man, he was Ecuadorian. I'm not really sure where exactly he was from, but I know he was Ecuadorian. And my mom ended up marrying him shortly after, and he turned out to be probably the most horrific man that I've known in my life. He was so aggressive, so abusive, very crazy, psychopath, very nasty man. And he was my babysitter at such a young age. I had an older brother that also lived with us, and my mom was usually at work. So I spent most of my time with him, my babysitter, and he did a lot of traumatic things to me. I'm not gonna get too much deep into detail, but if you can name it, it probably has happened. That went on for a few years until my mother and him finally got a divorce. And I also wanted to put it out there that at this time, I also did not know who my real father was. So my father was not in the picture until way later of my life. So right now, I did not know who my father was, but I just had my mother and my babysitter and my brother. So my mom decided to divorce him, and he made a very grand exit when he left. And now at this point, it was me, my mom, and my brother. I've always had a really deep love for my mom, especially as a little girl. I looked up to her. My mom is so beautiful. Like, if you guys see me, how I look, like, imagine my mom. Like, she's just so gorgeous. I don't know if that was tooting my horn a little bit, but my mom is gorgeous. She's such a smart woman, so beautiful and everything. I remember a time in my life, I don't remember what age I was, but I remember me and my mom having a pretty close relationship. And, like she used to take me and we used to go get our nails done. And I used to brush her hair and I used to set the table up for dinner and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, slowly but surely, it started to fade, and she stopped coming home to the point where now it was abandonment and neglect. So, me and my brother would be in the house by ourselves for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time, and we didn't have food. In the wintertime, we didn't have hot water. And mind you, we're living in Connecticut. So when it's snowing, and it gets pretty cold in New England. So we didn't have a furnace basically to heat our hot water. So I remember we had like this red bucket. We would heat up our water on the stove, real, it's real. So we had to do that. And I remember we had this big thing of Lipton tea. We used to drink Lipton tea, and we didn't really have much food. So I remember making a lot of mayonnaise sandwiches. And at this time, I had to be around like 7 years old. During the summertime, we weren't really allowed to leave the house, so we just kind of stayed inside the house. And we had a Nintendo Wii and everything, so me and my brother would play the Nintendo Wii. I remember when my mom would come, like maybe in the beginning of the month, she would take me to go get books. So I had like some type of reading challenge from the library to read 100 books in the summertime. So I spent a lot of my summers reading. For birthdays and holidays, I don't really have much remembrance of any birthday that I had from the ages of 4 to 8. I don't believe that I even really celebrated my birthday throughout those years. So that was one thing I had to learn at this older age is actually celebrating my birthday and celebrating another year of life because that is something that's not promised to me or anybody. So it's very important to me now. Thank God. Me and my older brother's relationship was rocky as well. And I think at the age he was probably in high school. I think he just held in a lot of anger and he didn't know how to process his anger and frustration and his emotions well. So most of the time, that was also taken out on me. He was kind of on and off. His emotions it's kind of like walking on a thin line with him. And I feel the same way about my mother as well. She's the same way. It's like walking on a thin line. So since we were pretty much living in that house by ourselves, my older brother, he was able to upkeep himself well. It's not really that hard for guys. You just get a haircut and throw some clean shoes on, put a nice outfit on, you're good. But for me, I didn't know how to do my own hair. I was never taught. Um, I didn't really know how to dress myself appropriately, and I didn't even have the clothes to do so either. And my a lot of my shoes probably like had holes in them, and I probably didn't look, upkept as much as my brother. One thing about it though is that I loved school. I loved to learn. I was so smart. I'm still so smart. And I had so many friends, and I was just such a bubbly, loving girl, just filled with so much light, just so amazing. And I believe that that little girl is still in me now. And that's why I show up in the world how I show up now. But I think to myself, I'm like, wow, the adults that were probably looking at me at that time and seeing me come to school, they probably were thinking, like, wow, she is such a loving little girl, but like, look how she's being kept. And that was probably a heartbreaking sight to see. And sometimes I think to myself, and I'm like, man, like, I wish I could give younger me a hug, but younger me would be giving myself back a hug, smiling, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Because I had no idea at the time. I had no idea what was going on. So while I was going to school, the teachers, probably my teacher at the time, started to realize signs of neglect and abandonment. And at this time, I remember being in third grade and I was 8 years old. And that's when the school started getting involved and a DCF case started to open and investigate if we were abandoned and neglected. And so, with that happening, I had to be sent to my grandma in California as soon as possible, just so that DCF didn't take me and put me into the system. And I remember that really, really long day going to the airport and going on my plane and, having to say goodbye to my mom at 8 years old. And I hopped on this plane by myself and flew across the country at 8 years old, all by myself. And I remember sitting next to this lady and she was telling me all about California. I think she lived there. And we were watching, what's the name of that movie? Um, Emperor's New Groove. I think that's the name of it. I remember that. And she let me watch it on her laptop. And she's such a nice lady. But I remember that day, and I think that is one of the most emotional days that I can think back at. And I think moving from Connecticut to California, out of all places, alone was just such a big moment in my life and such a big difference in my life, um, that I just find so amazing. I think God works in, you know, amazing ways. I met my challenges also in California as well. And then I ended up coming back to Connecticut. I live in Connecticut now. But that is where the story ends just for today. And eventually, with us growing on this journey together, I will be able to share all of my story with you guys. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll write a book someday. But, I'm still young and I'm still going through life and I'm still going through my ups and downs. It's just that now at this age, I've been through so much that I have so much wisdom to be able to tackle these challenges and these hard times and get through them like they're nothing. And also be able to have the wisdom and the knowledge to help other people get through their challenges as well. That really makes me happy too. But I shared all of that to say that your circumstances isn't your life. Like, don't let your circumstances dictate your destiny. Because just because, you might have been dealt bad cards in your life and maybe you don't have it easy and maybe you got to work a little harder for it, it is worth it and you can do it. And I'm telling you, never to give up on it. Whatever it is that's deep inside of you, any type of dream, I don't care if you have $0 in your bank account. I don't care if you have no support around you. I don't care what the circumstances may look like. Do not give up on what it is that your mind is set to do. Because what really matters is your heart. What really matters is your attitude, your mind, and how bad you want it, and how determined you are, and how you treat other people as well. Like how those are the things that matter. We all go through tough things in our life because life is meant for us to go through tough things because you learn from them and you grow from them and you apply what you learned. So don't let anybody make you feel less than because maybe you just went through a little bit more things in your life, but it doesn't make you as a person. You're not the things that you go through. You use it for fuel. What do you do after it? Like I said in the beginning of this podcast episode, you're the author of your story. So, however you choose to end your story is on you. But know that if you want it to be a happy ending, it can be a happy ending. Will it be an easy, happy ending? No. But what story have you ever read doesn't have ups and downs before it gets to that happy ending? And also start going way, way back like that. I was telling you guys things from when I was born, okay? Because that's when the trauma started. And I remember my whole life that young because of all the traumatic things that happened. So my memory is very, very well. And that's usually what happens a lot. So go back. Is if it's real, real far, go all the way far back like that and start really healing from those things that happened all the way back then so you can finally walk into the person that you're called to be, because those type of traumas and that pain and that hurt that you're holding and storing in the back of your head is not doing any purpose towards you, because the person who did it towards you, that person may never apologize. That person may never make truth with what happened. It's up to you to get the maturity and to choose peace for yourself and to heal yourself. Forgive them, even if they don't apologize, so that you can move on, because these are things that you can't carry anymore. It's too heavy. And since it's too heavy, you can't continue to walk. And if you can't continue to walk, you're slowing down. And if you're slowing down, you're never going to reach the destination that you're supposed to be at. Remember, the hard things that we go through and the struggles we endure and the traumas that we go through, it's all character building. And you can take these things and turn them into something great for yourself if you let yourself do it. Keep your heart pure. Keep your heart posture correct. Let it stand firm and let it stand tall. Don't let pain or anything change the way that your heart is. Because you can be so full of love and then something breaks you down to the point where then you don't even want to love again. You don't even want to be that vulnerable to let anyone have your heart like that again, just because of how bad that hurt the first time. But I'm here to tell you that don't let it change you. Don't let anything that you go through change you. Remember that little girl that was once a part of you years and years ago. Remember who she is, and remember the heart that she had, and get it back, because that heart right there will get you through anything that comes your way. And it'll get you through the storms, it'll get you through the hard times, and it will attract people who know how to even take care of that heart. But you have to hold on to it first before anyone can hold on to it. And this is coming from someone who was abused heavily, very young, someone who was abandoned by her mother, someone who didn't even know who her father was at the time, someone who grew up without anything and barely any love. I'm that same girl, succeeding, chasing her goals, and doing everything that I put my mind to. And I'm here to tell you guys that you own your story and you do those things that you say that you want to do, and you do them proudly with your head held high. And I believe in every single one of you, and I'm sending love all your way. I'm going to leave this with you guys. Someday I'm going to read to you. And it says, everyone has a story to tell, a lesson to teach, and wisdom to share. Life is a beautiful masterpiece bound together by your experiences. Open up and share your story. Become an inspiration to others. You can make a difference because you matter. You were created with purpose. Live with intention. Go out there and make a difference by being the difference. Thank you for listening. I hope today's episode met you where you are and you left with something meaningful to carry forward. If it spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs it too. And if you feel led, please leave a review. Your words will help this garden grow. New episodes of the Garden of Influence bloom every Sunday, so be sure to follow along and grow with us on Instagram at the Garden of Influence. Until next time, stay rooted, stay real, and keep blooming.